Hello Aquarius, this is Teresa from tarotbyt.com, and I'm getting ready, welcome to March. I'm getting ready to do your March Love TarotScope, and before I do that, I want to ring the bells and create some sacred space around this reading. Call in some good energy. Okay, and I want to say thank you for subscribing to my channel, for liking my videos, for commenting. I appreciate and value the feedback, and thank you for those of you who have purchased a reading. I value your support, and I'm happy to serve you. Okay, so let's see what's going on for March for Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know for the month of March? What do Aquarians need to know? What's coming up for love in the month of March? What is coming up? Okay, let's see what we have. The Hierophant. The Three of Swords. The High Priestess. The World. The Two of Swords. The Ace of Wands. The Five of Pentacles. The Chariot. The Tower. And the King of Swords. Okay, let's see. So you have the Hierophant in the center, and the Hierophant is a card of, it's a card of tradition, of doing the right thing, of following, doing what's expected of you. It can also mean, so you could be involved in a relationship where maybe you were sharing your wisdom or trying to help someone in some way through and maybe you were dealing with someone who could be a little bit difficult. So maybe you're in a relationship where one of you is very conservative, or one of you is very rigid and not open to change. And the other person is kind of like a rebel and wants to be free and doesn't care about what other people think and wants to just do what they want to do. So there could have been like a conflict of interest there. It could also mean that you were working for a company that has very strict policies. So you felt like, or you're feeling that your options are limited, that you're not free to be unique and you're not free to be creative because you have to follow a very narrow, you have to you're like in a box. You can't, you're not free to act out and do the things that you want to do and express your creativity. And this could be in a career situation and a relationship. So the relationship is kind of limiting in some way because of this person's conservative attitude or rigid attitude. You feel like you can't work with this person. You can't compromise because they're just stuck in their behavior. And it doesn't have to be, it could be that they're just stuck, they're like attached to their way of being. They're attached to their story. They're attached to their past. So you can't get them to compromise, because if they feel like if they're compromising, they're giving up a part of themselves. It's like an ego battle. Like, I'm attached to what I believe in. I'm attached to my behavior. I can't change for anyone. I am rigid. And because that's this card. This card is, it can be a rigid influence. And this could be your attitude. It could also be someone that you're involved in. So you have the Three of Swords here. And so you could have had a falling out with someone where there were words were spoken that were painful. Maybe there was a breakup because you felt like you couldn't meet. There was no meeting of the minds. There was no common ground. No willingness to compromise. It was like you're both stubborn and you're both pulling for your own agenda. So the Three of Swords is a card of cutting away what's no longer working. So it could mean a relationship has maybe run its course and you're deciding, okay, what do I keep in my life? What people do I want to keep? And what people do I need to cut away? Because maybe there are some people in your life that are just too rigid or too conservative, and they're not allowing you to be free and not allowing you to express yourself. Because Aquarius is so unique. And you really don't care what other people think. And you're not afraid to think out of the box. You're not afraid to act beyond the traditional norms. So you might have felt restricted in this relationship. Like like your partner was expecting, or the people that you're dealing with are expecting you to conform to a certain rigid type of behavior or a certain conservative type of behavior. And you're finding that increasingly difficult because deep down inside, you want to be free to be you. So there could be some decisions where you're deciding, I don't want this anymore. I need to cut away from this conservative life. I'm not living my truth. I'm not being who I am. I need to be who I am. I need to be free to be who I am. So it could be that there's a relationship that's having some issues in the month of March, or you're actually thinking maybe you're kind of tapping into an unconventional type of spirituality, and so the people around you are having problems with that because you're not doing the conservative thing. You're not doing the thing that's traditional, and it's making people uncomfortable. And so relationships are going to end because of it, because you just can't relate to these people anymore. You can't relate to this person, because they're just not getting you. I think that's the image I'm getting. Like, nobody understands where I'm coming from. Nobody gets me. I need to just get away from I need to be around people who get me. And if that means breaking relationships, then that's what that means. So the High Priestess is in the past. That's a card of spirituality. It's a card of tapping into your intuition, taking time out to meditate and to find out how you really feel, following that inner voice. Sometimes it could represent, the High Priestess can represent things happening behind the scenes in a mundane sense, in an everyday sense. And it sometimes can mean that there might be someone in your life who's a little bit on the conceited side. Selfish. Like they're only thinking of themselves and their ego. And you're having a problem with that. So you're tapping into your intuition. Like, what do I do with this relationship? Do I leave it? Do I stay? Can I fix it? So you're having some decisions to make. And you may have already had a blow up because you have the Three of Swords in the present. You may have already had some type of separation where so now you're in the thinking mode. And then you have the World card here. The World card it's got a mixed meaning. On the one hand, it means the end of a cycle. So you might be finishing up some old karma, or you're finishing up an old pattern in your life, and you're getting ready to move to the next level. So that could mean that you're cutting away whatever's no longer working, and you're getting ready to launch a new pattern for your life. And things have been coming together. In spite of the sorrow that's brought about by the Three of Swords, it's not all negative, really. what it means is you're in this process of change and transformation. I think you're transitioning from living a life where you're doing what's expected of you, and you're transitioning to being true to yourself and living a life where you're being honest about who you are, and you're living the path that you feel destined to live. So if the work that you've been doing has not been fulfilling because the people around you are too conservative and they're not accepting the quirkiness within you or the unconventional side of you, you're going to be cutting some people out of your life because you really need to be free to be you. And that's what this card represents, the world. The world represents things coming together and you starting to do work that really speaks to who you are. And you feeling that it's like a kind of like an ascension energy where you're coming into your path. You're coming into a sense of yourself, and you don't want to go back to the old way of, like, maybe you were doing a job that your parents picked out for you. And I'm doing this because that's what's expected of me. But it really wasn't what you wanted to do. So now, that's kind of falling by the wayside. You can't live that life anymore. You might even be dating someone that you're not really happy with, but you're doing what's expected of you. You don't want to hurt the person. Or what are people going to think if I leave this relationship or this situation, whether it's a career situation or a love relationship. You're having a hard time following, doing what's expected because you're sacrificing your own needs. You're sacrificing your soul and you're living a lie. So with the World card and the High Priestess, you might have been testing out you've been doing things behind the scenes, where you're exploring a different type of spirituality and you're exploring a different path. And so you're kind of like in this transition where you're leaving the old behind and you're moving toward the new. And the new really speaks to you. So in a career situation, that could be like changing paths. In a relationship situation, it could mean leaving an old relationship behind because it just doesn't fit who you are. The person doesn't understand you. The person just doesn't get you. And you might have had some good moments, but it's like it might have been a karmic thing, and now the karma is ending, and you're ready to move to the next level. So the Two of Swords, that's a card of indecision. It's a card of sitting on the fence. It could mean that, okay, if you've had a breakup with someone, because maybe you're both stubborn. It's not just you, and it's not just them. I'm feeling that both of you are being stubborn. I know Aquarius is a fixed sign. So you might be dealing with another person who's a fixed sign. So it could be Taurus, Scorpio, Leo. Those are the fixed signs. Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius are the fixed signs. Those are the most stubborn signs of the zodiac. They're not willing to compromise. When they put their stake in the ground, hell will freeze over before they change their mind. So you might be dealing with like some kind of a standoff. So if you've had a breakup or a misunderstanding or a disagreement in a relationship, both of you, neither one of you is making a move toward reconciliation. You're both kind of waiting for the other person to make that move. And you're kind of on the fence too, because a part of you is not sure what you want to do. Do I break up and let this thing go? Do I try to get through to this person one more time? Do I start something totally new? So it's possible that in the past, the person you were involved with was a very spiritual person, very compassionate person. The High Priestess represents that too, a woman or a man or someone who's very spiritual, very compassionate, very intuitive. So you might have been involved with someone like that. And there were times when you guys got together it was great. You know, you felt like you were existing in this timeless state of grace. But somehow I think that cycle is kind of ending. Things are changing. And now you're trying to decide what to do. And the Two of Swords coming in the future, it's a card that's saying, the advice of the Two of Swords is, you need to sit down and talk. You need to have a conversation. As even though it's going to be difficult, and you know, it's possible that the two of you had words were exchanged that were hurtful. Because the Three of Swords is a heart that's feeling pain. So you're both feeling the pain of separation. It's not just one person suffering. And you're both, neither one wants to make the first move toward reconciliation. So you're at this place where you're like on the fence and nothing's moving. It's like a stagnation with the Two of Swords. It would help if you could drop your guard and lay your cards on the table and be honest and express your feelings. But I feel like you're too stubborn and you have too much pride to do that. Now, here in the future, this is the near future coming up, the Ace of Wands. So there's an opportunity for a new beginning. So it's possible that maybe you're thinking in your head, maybe I should just start with someone new. Maybe I need to just start a new life. Maybe I need to let this relationship go and just start new. A new job, a new relationship, a new phase in my life. I think you're ready for something that's new, different. You're ready for the new. The only problem, one is financial. You may not have the money to make the changes you want to make right now. You might be struggling a little bit with finances. And the Five of Pentacles is also a card of feeling that you're not good enough. It's a self-esteem thing, or you might be doing work that you really love, or you may want to go along, start a new path with like a new career path and break away from whatever was no longer fulfilling you. But a part of you is feeling, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I can do this work. Will I be accepted? Is it too late for me? Am I, maybe I'm not that good. You're doing a head trip on yourself because you are good. Aquarians are very intelligent. Aquarians, you've got your eye on the future. You're ahead of your time. You help us all from becoming stale. You know how to think outside the box. You're very creative in your thoughts. You're an inventor. You're a scientist. You grasp technology. You have a natural grasp of technology. So don't think that you have no talent. Don't think that you are not going to be accepted. I think that's part of it. Maybe you have a fear of rejection. You're afraid to approach this person because you're afraid, that you have nothing to offer, or that you're not good enough in this situation. And so this is a card of feeling that you're on the outside, like you're cut off from the people that you love. You're feeling isolated. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can just pick up a phone and say, hey, let's talk. Let's work this out. But I don't know that you're ready to do that. You have to overcome this feeling, this negativity, this negative self-image. You have to overcome that. Now, the Chariot, this is in your environment. So I feel that there's a new opportunity coming up. And you can it might even involve travel, or a change of residence, or taking some type of trip. But the Chariot is a card of victory through pulling in your scattered energies. You might have had, your mind's been all over the place. You don't know where to put your energy. You're like here and you're there. The Chariot, you have to get a hold of yourself. You have to get a grip. You have to focus on what you really want. You have to be in control instead of letting others, drag you all over the place. The horses represent your will, your desire, and you're letting go of the reins. You're letting the horses run rampant in your life. And that's like, you can't have it all. You have to focus. What do I want? Sometimes people who try to get it all wind up with nothing because they're too scattered. Their energies, they're not going to accomplish anything. So people in your environment may see you as a little bit scattered or a little bit spread out too thin. So you're going to have to call in that discipline. You have to discipline yourself in the month of March. And focus on what you really want. Because there's opportunity with the Ace of Wands, but it's a fleeting opportunity. Beginnings, when opportunity knocks, you have the choice. Do I answer or do I let it pass me by? So you don't want this to pass you by, because there might be an opportunity coming up in March that you want to grasp and you want to be ready. So get disciplined. Figure out where you want to go, what you want to do, so that you can grasp that opportunity when it comes. And stop. This is also a card of depression. Maybe you're going through a type of depression. If a relationship is having some issues, some problems, maybe you're feeling lonely and you're feeling depressed about it. Like, I want to be with this person, but I don't know if we can resolve our problems. I don't know if they get me. I don't want to be, put in a little box where I'm not free to be me. Maybe you feel that person expects you to conform to a certain type of commitment or behavior, and you're just not willing to do it. You're the rebel and you want to be free. And you're feeling like what's at stake is, do I commit and lose my freedom and sell my soul to this relationship and do what this person wants? Or do I fight for my freedom, but then I have to sacrifice the relationship, because if I don't give this person what they want, the relationship's going to end. So, and then you have this Tower here. The Tower is in your wish fulfillment. So it's possible that you really need to think clearly about what you want. Because maybe you're not thinking, you have to have a plan. Maybe you haven't. This could go two ways. One, something may be you might want to make major changes in your life. So that'll involve breaking down the existing situation completely, like burning the tower to the ground. So your life is going through major change where you want to just kind of destroy everything and start over. So whatever you're involved in, you may feel like it's crumbling, like your world is falling apart around you. The old way is kind of crumbling. And you're not sure, because you're still in this transition, you're not sure what the next step is, or where's the future, what's going to happen when the dust clears, where am I going to be? You feel like your identity is wrapped up in an old, maybe the work that you do, or a relationship. Sometimes we're stuck to our story. And, it's like, who would I be if I'm not this person? So if you're dating someone, or you're married to someone, or if I'm not with this person, maybe you're letting this person define you. Like, who am I if I'm not with this person? Who am I if I'm not married? Who am I if I'm not doing this work that I've been doing for the past 20, 30 years? I've been doing this thing my whole life. If that ends, who am I? So you're having like an identity crisis. And it's like you haven't really owned the new path, the new identity. You're still clinging to the old identity. So the Tower, if the Tower takes anything away from you, it's a blessing, because it's preparing you to, it's destroying whatever's false. So if you're existing in a relationship and you're not seeing the person clearly, you could have a blow to your ego. Maybe even taking somebody for granted and thinking they're always going to be there. And then suddenly, you do something and they're not there anymore. You push your luck. Maybe you feel like someone's being really hard on you because the King of Swords is here. King of Swords can be someone who's harsh, giving you a hard time. and you feel like everything's crumbling. Sometimes the tower can be a mental breakdown, even physical or mental, where you're not thinking clearly, and you have to really change your view of a situation. And sometimes you're not seeing the truth, you're just seeing what you want to see, and the tower comes to slap you upside the head and wake you up so that you could see, hey, I have to stop doing this behavior. I have to change my ways. Or I have to get out of this relationship. I have to change my life in some way. I mean, it could operate in a lot of different ways. It could operate where you're getting out of a relationship because it's just not working and you finally see the truth. Or you finally see the truth about what you're doing, your participation. Because a lot of times we want to blame others for whatever's going on in our life. We don't want to own our part in things. So the tower can sometimes come up when you're not owning your contribution, your position. And so it's going to say, it's like a blow to your ego. It's a wake up call to say, like, hey, look at what you're doing. So it could go either way. But whatever it is, the tower represents major change. So your life, but it's not necessarily negative. I don't think of the tower as negative. Some people look at the tower and they say, oh my God, what's going to happen now? Really, it's just telling you that change is overdue. You've been existing in a situation for too long and it's not serving you. It's not speaking to who you are. You're not growing. You're not developing. You're not happy. And the tower comes to tell you, it's like you're at critical mass. I just can't take it anymore. I've been trying to deal with this for so long, I just can't take it anymore. I have to do something, even if it's wrong, I have to do something. I have to break out. So you just have to be careful that you don't do anything reckless. Because sometimes the tower has a sense of urgency about it. So you might get angry with someone and do something that you later regret. So don't do that. Like, don't break up with someone in the heat of anger or in the heat of an argument. Calm down before you make decisions. Especially now that Venus is going retrograde in the month of March, and then Mercury will be going retrograde. Now's not the time to make major changes in your life. Now's the time to reevaluate and look at everything and reevaluate your situation and see what options are out there for you. But don't make radical movements without thinking it through. Don't be reactive. That's another thing with the tower. And with this King of Swords, you might have a problem with an authority figure. There might be someone, sometimes it can mean problems with the law, some kind of legal issue. Sometimes it could just mean that you're dealing with someone who's difficult, who's very rigid, who does not have any compassion. And sometimes the king, with the King of Swords, if it doesn't represent a person, it could represent you because it's an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But sometimes it could represent advice on how you need to deal with the situation. So maybe you need to really, instead of getting your emotions involved, instead of being reactive, like if someone pushes your buttons and you get reactive, what you need to do is be more, use critical thinking to find your way out. Don't get caught up in delusional thinking. Don't get caught up in emotional decisions. Look at the facts. Do the pros and make a list, pros and cons. If I do this, what will happen? If I do that, what will happen? Look at it objectively. Look at things and try to separate what's real from what's not real. It's possible that you've been confused about what's real. You're not sure what to do because you're not seeing things clearly. So it's a time of, the tower really brings truth to the surface. So you're going to see some truths in March. And you're going to be presented with information. And what you do with that information is going to determine the outcome. You can claim this opportunity. You can choose to salvage something and maybe rebuild it along more realistic lines. If it means following a new career path, you're going to leave something that you've been doing a long time and maybe move in a new direction. But that's good. This is good because it's going to free you up and it's going to make you feel more alive. So if you've been just existing and going through the motions of life, that's going to change. You're going to destroy or break down what's no longer working so that you can rebuild in a better direction. So the advice I would give you is call in your scattered energy. Don't sell out. Don't sell yourself short, and have faith in who you are. You are good enough to do whatever you want to do. You are good enough to be loved. You're worthy of love, and you're worthy of success, and you're worthy of all the things that you want to do and you want to accomplish. You can do them. You just have to believe in yourself, basically. This is a card of you having to believe in yourself. And if you start to do work that you love and you start to be in a relationship that's more real, that speaks to who you are, sometimes you can't let that in if you're still clinging to the old that's not working. So you have to really think about, what do I need to let go of that's stopping me from being who I am, that's stopping me from finding fulfillment in relationships and in my life path. That's the message from March. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, Aquarius. I know it was a little bit ominous. I'm sorry about that. But it's really not ominous. It's really just telling you you're at critical mass. It's time to change. It's time to move on to a different path, one that fits you better. That's the basic message. And you will be so much happier once you get through this transition period. You're going to say, why did I wait so long? So good luck to you in March. I hope, I'm wishing you that you claim your opportunities. Don't let them pass you by. And I know that everything's going to work out for the best. So hang in there, Aquarius. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.